Long before skyscrapers pierced the clouds, Africa built wonders that breathed with the desert. And they're still standing, nearly 700 years later. These are not just buildings of stone and steel, but monuments of earth, wood, and human spirit. From the 13th to the 16th centuries, magnificent mosques like Jinguerbir in Timbuktu and the royal tombs of Gao rose from the scorched plains. They were built using Pseudo-Sahelian architecture, creating mud brick marvels that seemed to touch the heavens. But these structures tell a story much deeper than their stunning facades. They whisper of the immense human cost, of the sweat and sacrifice poured into every brick. Imagine the weary builders, hauling mud under a merciless sky, their faces etched with dust and devotion. Imagine the calloused hands shaping towering minarets, their eyes reflecting the gleam of wet clay mixed with tears of exhaustion. The air itself would have been heavy with the scent of wet earth and the distant rumble of thunder, a promise of rain that often delivered only more hardship. Each thornwood beam jutting from the walls wasn't just a structural element, it was a victory snatched from the jaws of despair. The construction of these monuments was a dangerous, grueling process. The hearts of the builders were heavy with the sorrow of friends and family lost to falls from the scaffolding. Their lives ground into the very walls they raised. A social divide was born from labor's cruel hand, as artisans wept for those buried beneath their own masterpieces. These were monuments that stood tall, while generations fell silent beneath them. What aching desperation, what powerful vision, drove these communities to crown the desert with such defiant spires? Let's journey back in time to the flickering torchlight illuminating weary masons. These Malian descendants, bound by blood and necessity, would till the soil under the sun's unforgiving gaze. Their backs bent like the bowed spirits of the displaced. It was in this environment that the great Mosque of Jinguerbir rose. Commissioned by the legendary Mansa Musa, after his return from Mecca. The builders, their hearts pounding with the constant terror of collapse, were driven by a fragile dream, to create structures that would outlast flesh and bone. They shaped the iconic protruding Toran beams, which served not just as decoration but as permanent scaffolding for the constant repairs needed after the annual rains. Each monsoon season was a battle, and every successful repair was a hard-won victory against the relentless forces of nature that threatened to wash away years of blood-soaked toil. It was a cycle of creation and preservation, a testament to their incredible resilience. By the 1600s, these architectural marvels had reached their peak. They stood as beacons of genius, centers of faith, and hubs of commerce and learning. But the very spirit that created them also seeded a vulnerability. The immense effort required to maintain them, the constant struggle against the elements, and the shifting political landscapes meant that their golden age was a fragile one. The cost lingered in every scarred soul, a lament for the builders whose stories were lost, buried within their own magnificent creations. This era of fragile eternity saw interconnected dreams turn into shattered hopes. As empires waned and trade routes shifted, some of these great structures began to wither in neglect. Families mourned in tearful exile, forced to leave their ancestral homes, the land itself seeming to weep with the departure of its children. The story of these mosques became one of thriving life, followed by heartbreaking decline, echoing with the sorrow of those crushed beneath the weight of creation. Today, as we look upon these mud walls, some crumbling into relics, it feels as though the ghostly whispers of the builders still linger in the winds. From the dawn of the Sahelian empires to their heartbroken peak, we are left with a profound mystery. Did ancestral visions summon these spires from the earth? Were they purely monuments to faith and power? Or do their buried foundations hide climatic curses and untold stories of struggle that shattered their weary builders' hold on eternity? The soul of the Pseudo-Sahelian people endures, passed down through generations, yet the full veil over these marvels remains drawn, a silent cry of lost hands and fallen dreams. As we stand in awe of Jingerber's sacred mud, we must ask ourselves, what untold heartaches, what silent sacrifices still guard these ancient spires? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your reflections in the comments below. What do these incredible structures represent to you? Thank you for watching, and if you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more stories hidden in history.